When I was a kid, I was probably about 7, I had an annual of some kind, a space annual, and in it was an amazing orbital station that you could walk around. And I used to dream as a kid of being able to do that. And finally, I might soon be able to do such a thing in one of our amazing Orbis stations. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the future for the game. Being able to get out of my ship, get into one of those stations and do what I imagined doing when I was 7 years old.
I love the idea of going down to a planet's surface, getting out of my ship, maybe driving around in a buggy, that sort of thing. That, to me, is amazing, because then you start to realise the scope and the scale of the real world that's out there. You know, all of those distant stars.
I think there's so much to do. I think I'm quite looking forward to being able to walk around space stations. I think there's a whole gamut of gameplay there that I think will be interesting to explore, meeting the contacts that you've only sort of seen via the bulletin board interface. There's a lot we can do there.
I would love to see players running around their ship and other ships, dealing with emergencies and repelling boarders, cleaning up toxic spillages, exploring derelict husks, that sort of mischief.
What I want to see in future releases of Elite Dangerous will be more ships, more diversity in design and the looks of the spaceships, the ability to walk around them, particularly the bigger ones like the Anaconda, and then in stations as well, you know, meeting other players and all that sort of stuff would be fantastic.
One of the things that we've implemented on some of the larger ships is based on a grid system of meter squares. So the cockpit is of a certain size, and within that there's a lift shaft, and that shaft will then channel down and be the same position throughout the ship on all the lower decks.
Planning for the future, where on the one hand you have something like a Cobra, which actually is a giant vehicle with a huge ladder you get out of, you know, or an Anaconda, which in itself would probably be the size of a level in many of the first-person shooter games that I've played.
I'd like for players to be able to get out of the ship and walk around the hangars, because it's difficult to appreciate how big some of these ships are when you're flying them, but to walk around the hangar and stand underneath one should really bring that scale across to the player.
I think what I'm particularly looking forward to is when you can actually get out of your ship and walk around, just to be able to sort of look up into the station and realise just how big it is and how small you are. Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
What's really exciting is zero gravity. That's something you don't see in a lot of games, and being able to sort of float around your ship, float through the corridors and float out of your ship and sort of climb around it, fix something on the outside, I think that would be really cool. I'd love to see that in the future.
I'm really looking forward to zero-G combat, getting out of your seat and then being in an atmosphere that has absolutely no gravity. How is that going to work? I'm really looking forward to playing that.
So I'd really love to see us explore some of the suggestions we've had from the DDF and from the community that we've had behind the game. I mean, we look at that every day and we get to see so many great ideas that frankly would be entire projects just on their own. One guy suggested radio stations you could tune into when you arrive in a system, so you can hack into and listen to all the police transmissions around a system, things like that. I really hope someday we can explore those ideas and sort of build them out into the game.
One thing I'd really like to see is space station destruction, which I don't think we'll get, but I do remember spending a lot of time in the original game shooting at stations, hoping that I'll be able to destroy them and never actually getting anywhere. So I'd like to see that. I'd
like to see giant space aliens that live in deep space, and they eat asteroids and they eat spaceships, and they have giant tentacles and big goggly eyes.
So for me, I'm really looking forward to the planetary landings, seeing these beautiful globes that we're flying past in Super Cruise at the moment, and then being able to just pop down onto the surface. I'm really excited about that one.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to to doing the planetary landing expansion. It's a terrifying undertaking. It's just a whole new area of the game that we're going to have to bring up to an incredibly high quality. But hopefully we've got long enough to do that.
I love things like walking around inside the ship and the space station, but the thing to me is going around seeing a distant world. That's probably the thing I'm excited about the whole thing, because I just love the idea. The more the more we put in, the more I feel we need to flesh things out. And so there is so much scope for where we go in this game.